It's 2 a.m. Fear is gone. I'm sitting here waiting. The gun's still warm. Maybe my connection is tired of taking chances. It's 2 a.m. I didn't see anybody else around and streaming, so I thought I'd dip in for just a little bit. I'm bored. I'm an insomniac. So, yeah. Just hang. I'm an insomniac. Just hanging out. Nobody's watching. Somebody will probably watch this later on. I'm pretty sure of it. But, you know, it's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday now. Used to be a Wednesday. Well, a week ago it used to be a Wednesday, I guess. But hey, now's the perfect time for me to practice my ASMR channel. And let's see here. Let's take one of these pill bottles that my wife has. And I'll see how good I am at it. Okay, here we go. Take 1 to 2 capsules by mouth every 6 hours, as needed, for a variety of anxiety or sleep. Generic for Vistapril 25 milligram capsule. Discard by 6/29/19. No shit, this stuff's expired by like 3 months. Oh. Better not do that anymore then for her. Good morning, Deborah. I would read the ingredients on the Pounce can, but the cats are starting to look at me because I actually picked up the can like I'm going to be feeding them Pounce treats. There will be no Pounce given out this morning for White Cat continuously puking on the rug for no apparent reason. Then she just likes to eat a lot and then puke a lot. I never thought I'd have a bulimic kitty, but there you go. And of course, Black Cat is in heat. So it's been a day of brow, 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 and just bugging the living piss out of me. Don't get me wrong, I like my kitties. They do their jobs. They eat mousies. But, the 2 cats drive me insane. Now, the worst part was one time they actually got into sync with their heat. And there's a video online that shows this Chinese guy showing how to do pressure points to alleviate it, because we haven't had any money to get our cats fixed yet. So they're house cats anyway. So it's not like they're going to go out into the dangerous alleyways of our ghetto and do the nasty, because most everything out there is usually big old gophers, skunks, possum, and as I'm sure they're probably amorous, they would probably eat and destroy our cats, because our cats' number one defense is when you say something mean to them or try to scold them, they just fall on their back and put their paws up in the air going, "Look, I'm cute. I'm harmless." Yeah, wrong. Wrong. Dogs, for the most part, can get away with that because, you know, dogs are incredibly loving, but they are lower on the intelligence scale than cats. I've seen the studies. So they say it's true. And, well, you know, if it's science and somebody actually wrote it down, then I guess we have to believe it. I would go back into singing the rest of Twilight Zone, but I'm not gonna. You know, I'd go ahead and just take a little bit of time right now just to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who's so far pushed the goal of the GoFundMe. I'm like $300 away from meeting goal. And to me, that's amazing, especially in under 2 weeks. And we really didn't do a lot of advertising to it, more just like word of mouth. And I'm truly appreciative of that. Since it's just us here, I can say that anybody who considers himself artistic has a difficult situation, because we're always thinking in our heads that that what we're doing is not good enough, or we have to do better and we have to push it along. Steven Spielberg has a classic line where he says, movies are never finished, they're just abandoned. And I'd like to think, if we're doing something like providing content, that we can keep doing that, keep pushing forward, keep getting better, keep improving ourselves. And I honestly took a lot of shit from people about the GoFundMe. Now, it's not the way you think. And thank you, Vamp. I should say Vamp's cat, because there is a subtle difference. And yes, I said artistic. I drew a lot of flack from people behind the scenes, because I'm kind of a lurker. I used to go on shows nowadays, but now my fun is, helping see special events and stuff happen. It's just part of my useless skill set that kind of works out here with the YouTubes. If there's somebody who, needs a quick graphic, or they want to bring somebody on their show that they don't know, and I know I always, I'm Johnny on the spot. I'll always jump and say, yeah, I'll talk to this person, or, hey, I'll go ahead and hook you up with a graphic. I mean, all of my stuff is really, it's not artistic, but it's, how can I put this? Functional. So, I do a lot of stuff BTS, and I do it because it makes me feel good. I do it because I've been stuck in this house for 4 years, doing little more than nothing, trying to figure out ways to not go insane. And as the body breaks down, it's tougher to find those things. Oh, in my youth, Deborah, in my youth. I've seen more than one St. Andrew's cross, but that's a completely different story. So I was talking to people, and like every so often, my computer would fail and go down, and I'd talk about it. I'd talk about it to some of the people behind the scenes and say, hey, yeah, this is shit. I got to get this taken care of. But, it's more of, we have to make sure there's a roof over our heads first, than having to deal with, my computer woes. I was going very ghetto. Still, when I run my shows, I literally can only have at the most 3 windows open, which is Twitter, Google Hangout, and YouTube itself. Because if I have any more open, that will cause my computer to crash. Or turn me into a bloody robot that I can't recover from unless I restart the computer. And when I was restarting my computer, I started getting disk check errors. And on a computer like mine, a disk check error to run through it would take about 20 minutes. And then I started getting B-SODs, the old blue screen of death. So I would mention this in casual conversation. I'd laugh it off, you know, deprecating humor. And the guys and some of the gals behind the scenes just started busting my balls saying, just do a GoFundMe. And I was like, I don't know how much to ask for. I literally have no idea. The last computer that I shopped out, the POS that I'm using right now, when I got it, it was already 6 years old. And I bought it from an insurance company that was upgrading all of their networking computers. So I picked up one of their networking computers for 67 bucks. So I'm like, I don't know what, I just asked for a couple hundred, and the community behind the scenes was really nice. They started chiming in and said, listen, this is how much you really need if you want to stay ahead of the curve for about the next 4 or 5 years. So you don't have to mess with anything. And I was very appreciative of that. But in the back of my head, you know, when they came up with the number, because it wasn't just one guy saying, oh, well, this is how much. I literally had people behind the scenes saying, you know, hey, if I were to build one, here are all the components, how I would build it for you, and this is how much it costs. And they were giving me these printouts and showing me, yeah, you know, basically it was between like 13.5 and 1,500. And I was like, well, you know, I'm not looking to game or anything. You know, I would just want something that's not going to foobar me when I'm doing my show. Something that's going to allow me to do OBS, that I can pull and show videos, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I basically went on the words of the people who knew what they were talking about. And so that's where I got the 1,500. And man, did I draw some flack for it. There were some people giving me shit. It was like, oh, you can get a decent one for like 500 bucks. And I'm like, yeah, but right now, that $500 PC is a garbage PC right now. You know, because a lot of the ones they were referring me to was like, you know, 8 gig of RAM. And right now, the industry standard is 16 for just a basic computer. I mean, it goes up to 32 and 64 for these ultra mega monster gaming computers. But I didn't need that. I just wanted something that was going to run all my shit, and I wouldn't have to worry about it 5-6 years down the line. So that's where I put it up. And right now I'm at $1,200 of a $1,500 goal. I'm amazed. I'm just blown away. So anybody who actually listens to this later, who actually did contribute, you have my warmest, my sincerest thanks. I'm shopping right now, and I'm bookmarking stuff that because like I said in the GoFundMe, you know, if I hit the 1,500, that includes me also, you know, getting a webcam, a decent webcam. So I'll be face doxing. I've had some people offer me some bootleg editing software, but I think the easiest way to do it, plus my stepdaughter has a discount because she's going to college with computer science. So I can actually get programs for like 20% of the price. So I'm going to dump some money into that to have legit copies. So, you know, nothing can get messed with. And, well, I'll probably bump up the graphics myself, but I probably will also get me a new set of cans because people know the running joke is that I had 3 headsets when I first started this. I had a $1 headset. I legit paid $1 for it. I had a $1.99 headset, and then I had a $2.99 headset. And I chewed those up and went through them quick. Hey, Frodo, I might actually take you up on that. Because the only thing, I mean, I learned off of Vegas and Adobe Vegas, and it was a bootleg copy. But I kind of like how Vegas works. But, you know, I could do the Coach Red Pill thing too, but that would require me buying multiple cameras and having a very large ego. Deborah, you know, I've said it before. I mean, if anybody actually really went through the effort to dox me, they could probably do it in about 2 minutes. I just like the persona of the doctor. I like it. I'm very casual. I'm very conversative with the doc. Yeah, that's true. 47 cameras and no content. But yeah, I found a decent webcam, so I'm going to roll with that. And I have at least 2 side series that I want to start. And one of them, I guess I kind of already have started, which is just doing ramble streams, just talking to fill up the air, talking to share some of my old stories, hopefully stories of friends and buddies. Because I think everybody out there has a story. I think I've never met a person who didn't have at least one entertaining story, and those need to be told. Hey, Lord Byron, how you doing? And by the way, if you guys haven't subbed out to Lord Byron, please do so. He is an awesome artist. He did a shit ton of work for Diskey's last stream, and it all came out very lovely. Although I was running around so much, Byron did he actually use the graphics for the contestants? I don't remember. And a good morning to you, Fifth. Okay, by the way, you guys can decide this. Wifey allowed me to go to the state store. Byron, I honestly would have to go back and take a look, and you know, I guess, you know, that's only what 2 hours. So yeah, I guess I could put in the time to find out. But you know, he was spinning so many plates that night. You know, I didn't envy his task at all. Me being a backstage mom, I was perfectly fine with that. But wifey let me go to the state store, and she allowed me my my alcohol allotment. So as you folks probably know, I've given up my relationship with New Amsterdam Vodka because they've sent me, you know, 1 fridge magnet, and that was pretty much it. And with all the love that I have shown them over not only my episodes, but I think I'm up to about 2 dozen if we count in the Rolling with Sisyphus, because I was doing that gimmick on his show too. But so I was looking for something new. I've got 2 things, and I'm looking for you guys' opinion. Um, I picked up 2/5. Can you believe I picked up 2/5 for $20? It was clearance alcohol. The state store. This is the only state store that I know of that does clearance. But they were getting rid of many different liquors, and I picked two of them. One of them is Smirnoff's sour watermelon vodka, and the other one, I forget the name of the actual company, but it's a Tennessee whiskey that is spiced apple flavor. So I will leave it up to the half dozen people watching. Which one do you think I should do for the show tomorrow? Should I go with the apple spiced whiskey, or should I go with the vodka sour watermelon? I'm waiting for the delay for people to chime in. I swear to God, I'll start singing more Twilight Zone if I don't see any reactions over here in the chat. Okay, it's 1-1 right now. Ladies, cats. Yeah, it's sour watermelon, which makes me curious. I mean, I will end up drinking both of them, of course, because I'm the lovable lush. So, okay. There's 3 votes for watermelon vodka, 1 vote for whiskey. That is if it rains. Yeah, I think that's pretty definitive. I think I'll go with that. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe that you could buy a 5th of vodka for, I think it was like $6.50. Yeah, the only difficulty I'm going to have is what do I mix with sour watermelon vodka? I mean, I could see kind of if I had it, I would do it. If I had like orange juice and mango juice and pineapple juice, mix that all together and just call it a fruit salad. Yeah, 7-Up's not bad. Oh, well, I'm a Sprite guy. I quit drinking caffeine. So no caffeinated beverages have touched these lips since 2000. And I was always a Coke loyalist. Luke Sovasol and Sobieski are fine vodkas. Jesus. $10 a liter. I don't trust that. Now, you guys know and ladies, of course, I use guys as a colloquial. You know that if you watched the interview I did with the co-founder of Devo, Gerald Casale, Devo is actually, well, he actually owns a vineyard, which we didn't get too much into. But he owns a vineyard, and they're branching out, and they're going to do a potato vodka, and they're going to call it D-Vodka. And he has said that with the distributor, if everything works out with the distributor, then I'll actually have a sponsor, and it will be D-Vodka. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm good with that. And good morning, Hex. Wait a minute, are you still in Joker's gimmick now? Oh, I was singing. I was bored because it was 2 a.m. Oh, Fifth, I actually put up if you're following me on Twitter, I did an actual post. He sent me over the actual artwork that they're going to be using for the bottles, and it's a monkey with the red nuclear hat on in a business suit with a holding a martini glass with dew vodka in it. Oh, why didn't you share, Hex? You know, I can't wait till I have the ability to get back to my doctor. Now I gotta. Now my doctor's cash up front since they kicked me off Medicaid, so saving up for that, and I can't wait to get back so he can re-prescribe me my damn Ambien. I haven't had Ambien for a year, and literally what I have to do is stay up until my body's just ragged out and I have to go to bed. And I hate doing that. I love being able to pop one little pill, knock me the fuck out, and then bing, I'm back up bright tailed and bushy eyed. Mm. Honestly, I was hoping that because what? Ambien makes me racist. Well, then racist I shall be. I tell you, there's been a lot of that shit going down lately, and I'm of the personal opinion that everybody's a bigot, that everybody hates somebody out there, and it's like my grandfather used to tell me, yeah, you can be a bigot, it's okay to be a bigot, but just do it on a case by case basis. Have people earn your bigotry, so to speak. I mean, for God's sakes, I live in a ghetto that is a very nice mixture of black, white, and Hispanic. You can see the love that happens when everybody gathers together at the taco truck on 3rd Street. And everyone is there in peace and harmony, holding hands and waiting for their authentic tacos to be served up. Yeah, and that's the other thing that I never got. Oh yeah, hey Frodo, if you want to send me some of those weed gummies, I'll take a couple of those off your hands. Yeah, I mean, why would you want to waste your time just hating, one race of people? Because assholes lurk in every skin color. Um, it's a spectrum that you can choose to hate equally. But if you're going to do it, I would say, take my grandpa's advice. Do it on a case by case basis. Because there are way too many assholes out there that could stand some ignoring or pointing out. I mean, that's why anytime you guys listen to my show, my mantra is no politics, no religion, no BS. The only time that kind of slid was when I was talking with Cognitive Thought, and we were talking about, what actually is a nigga, and that is completely. That was a pretty in-depth conversation, just talking about it. um, where people stand, and I think that's a hard thing to do nowadays, to be on the internet and talk about things honestly, because there's way too many spurgs out there that are looking to jump on your jock and stomp it into the ground. No, Ambience for me. Sarah Quill, wifey, was on that for a while. She's got fibro, so she has to take like almost a dozen medications a night, and half of those are to counteract the half that work. And I don't envy her that. The only ones that I really miss is gabapentin and my Ambien. When I was taking gabapentin, it was really combating the diabetic neuropathy that I have. And I could feel almost midway down my shin, and then I stopped taking it. Didn't have no money to do it, so I had to stop taking it. And yes, I'm chivalric in the sense that I would rather that my wife have all her medications that she needs than me to have a little and her to have a little. She gets taken care of first. And that's the way it should be when you're in a partnership. So she's got all the meds that she needs, and that's fine by me. I was raised in a state of pain. So if something hurts, it hurts. I get over it. There's only like 2 or 3 things that I never really got over, where I had to be taken down a little bit, where they actually had to medicate me. But insomnia is a motherfucker. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. My record so far has been 3.5 days without sleep. I didn't burn out until then. Stupid. Just stupid stuff. Now, when I was a younger lad, especially in my 20s and my 30s, I combated it by just pounding shots till I got blind stupid and fell asleep. Hey, Chopped Up. Yep, welcome to the Insomniac stream. And yeah, I would use alcohol and pound it until I got stupid, and then bang, pass out. Not blackout. I blacked out. And yeah, that's a completely different world. I'm just reading chat, guys. Once I gave up caffeine, I found it a lot easier. Well, let's put it this way. Anybody out there who's ever quit caffeine already knows the fact that once you quit it, you're okay for probably about the first 6 to 8 weeks, because your body's looking at you like, all right, you're pulling the joke on me, cut it out. You're going to bring the caffeine back. You've already had caffeine. You love caffeine. Caffeine is your mistress. And then when it gets past that 8-week, that 2-month point, your body starts going, all right, fucker, where's my caffeine? I got to have it. No. This shit ain't funny anymore. Shit ain't funny, motherfucker. Give me my goddamn caffeine. But no. And when I hit that 2-month plateau, holy shit. I mean, I literally started sweating. I got the shakes like fucking DTs. It was amazing about how my body rebelled against not having caffeine. I mean, it severely fuckered me up. I did find, though, I found some ginseng extract, and I used that. I used that for quite a bit to get me over the hump. Now, as far as it goes for nicotine, Nah. Because people are like, oh, well, if you quit caffeine, you should quit nicotine at the same time. Yeah, I didn't sign a suicide pact. So, no, I'm still on the Nick. I did vape for quite a while, though. A buddy of mine, I helped get his vape shop in order. Helped him check in with, ordering with people and figuring out what types of vape juice was going to sell and what types of mods and all that shit. And so he was hooking me up on the regular with juice, but he just closed the store. So that's one excuse that I'm using about going back to tobacco. But it's funny, when I used to work, I would put in like snooze. Well, very good morning to you, Kadan. I would use snooze, and I could go through a work day without having a cigarette. I could go 8-hour shift complete without having a cigarette. Once I got done, I started smoking again. I dipped when it just wasn't practical for me to be smoking. And yeah, I found, especially when I switched over to vaping, I found that I missed the ritual, like Byron was talking about. I missed the ritual of having the cigarette in my hand. I missed the actual action of lighting a cigarette, putting it up to my lips, and drawing pollution down into my lungs. Wow, that's a great question. Byron, I've actually written stories where I've taken a half a page talking about smoking just to put the atmosphere in to the story. When I write, I try not to smoke because the ritual kind of gets in the way of the flow. I did find out that I vape more often when I write because I'm just just go and blow. I don't have to worry about lighting things up. I don't have to worry about ashing. So it's not taking my mind off of it. But I'm in no way a Stephen King. I can't write when I'm drunk. I can't write when I'm high. I do have to be 100% flat out sober. Maybe a little kickstart with the nicotine in the morning. But it's funny. I got to the point where in order to help me control my smoking, the first hour that I was up, no smokes, no cigarette, no nothing. It was me getting right with consciousness. And then I expanded it to every 2 hours, or every morning when I'd wake up. For the first 2 hours, I would not in any way smoke. Chopped up, that's not necessarily that bad. I knew a guy who was a functional alcoholic. He was one of the richest guys that I knew. It was so funny. He literally rented a basement apartment, which was like a crawl space that they had cleared out. I mean, the height in the actual little apartment that he had underneath was literally 6 foot. The whole thing had been refurbished, right? Now, this guy was 6'3", 6'2" or 6'3". So even when he got home, he was stooping to walk around in his little itty bitty microcosm of an apartment. And his favorite thing to do was drink Wild Irish Rose. So like when you'd go over to his house, now he wasn't a messy guy because he really didn't have a lot, but he did assembly line work. He did factory work. but he'd been doing factory work all his damn life. And so he had a pretty good paycheck that he was taking home. But he'd start the morning, he'd drink a whole bottle of Wild Irish Rose. That was his wake up. And then he'd drink as much as he could of another one when he was on his way to work. And for lunchtime, when they'd have a break, they'd go to, you know, like a pizza joint or something, everybody have a couple beers. He'd pound another pint of Wild Irish Rose. And once work was done, he would go home to his little shitty apartment and drink Wild Irish Rose until he passed out. And then he woke up in the morning, the cycle begins again. And we used to go over there to Blaze with him because he was never much of, he was always paranoid about buying pot because, you know, those of you who live in legal states, you know, maybe you're old enough to know when it was illegal and cops would come and arrest you for that shit and take your shit. Search and seizure laws have gotten really bad, but that's a completely different point. But we go over to his house and he had a couch and a love seat. And that's all he had down there. He had like one of those wooden spools that you'd use for a coffee table. Hey, Blackout. Drink one for me. Get drunk. Get sober. Get broadcasting. Hey, wait, before you pass out, are you going to be... Now, you're back home already. Are you still in chill mode? Or are you going to go and start streaming tomorrow? I wouldn't put it against you if you wanted to just wait and acclimate. Because I know, what was it, like a 12-hour flight or something? Horrible. Oh, but anyway, we go over to his house and he would have stacked up on his wooden spool the bottles of Wild Irish Rose that he drank. And we came over there one time and the whole tabletop was full. Oh, you're in Jersey. Okay, you're going back on Thursday. Well, then yeah, go ahead and get drunk. I mean, you're in Jersey. There's really nothing else to do but get drunk and enjoy the smell of petrochemicals. But we went over, the whole spool was filled with empty bottles of Wild Irish Rose, all neatly stacked up and lined up. So there must have been 5 or 6 dozen bottles there. And we started giving him shit. We're like, man, why don't you clean up your fucking place? How long's it been? And he just looked over at us and goes, a week. So he had pounded that much in a fucking week. And the funny thing about it is any place that we would sit, or like say if he had like a magazine or something sitting next to the love seat, you pull up the magazine, you know, and just kind of flip through it while he was doing his business before he came back. And there was money in it. And there was money in the cushions. And there was money left on the spool. He never put his money into a bank. He would just get his check cashed and then, you know, spend what he needed. All right, brother, you have a good night. If anybody's got any ketoprofen, ask them for a couple of them when you wake up. Those things will kill a hangover like you won't believe. But yeah, he had money laying around all the time. It's like, damn, why don't you at least get like one of those little itty bitty safes or something? He's like, I don't need it. Nobody knows where I live except you two. Because we were the only ones who'd actually come over and visit him and get him high. And he was like, yeah, man, if you ever need any money, you know, just pick some up off the table. It's like, dude, we got jobs. We don't need to take your damn money. But, you know, somebody ever finds out about this shit, they're going to come get you. It's called ketoprofen. It used to be known over the counter as Orudis, but the makers of Tylenol dropped the big boot on them and said, oh, this one can kill you, when technically the stats for deaths from Tylenol was more than ketoprofen. They still prescribe it, though. And it is keto. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Wait a minute. Come on, computer. Don't be a dick. Be a dude. It's spelled ketoprofen. I literally bought jars and jars of ketoprofen, or Orudis KT. And even when they stopped manufacturing it, they would have like these sales, like, when Rite Aids were closing out or drug marts were closing, they would take all their shit and all the over-the-counter shit, they'd drop it off over at like Odd Lots or Value City or someplace like that. And there would be jars and jars and jars of it, and nobody wanted to buy it because it was right at the expiration date. And if you know about drugs, as long as you're not exposing it to a lot of humidity or heat or moisture, they're usually good for about 2 years after the expiration date. So I stocked up. I mean, I had ketoprofen lined up like a hardcore drunk lining up shots at a bar. I had bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles, and I wept when I ate the last of my ketoprofen. I really did. Byron, no, technically they don't make methaqualone anymore. Technically, it's under a different name now, but as far as it goes, I've only ever had Quaaludes once, and holy fuck, I mixed that. I had two soapers, which is back in the day they either called them soapers or they call them 714s. Because that's what was stamped on it. It was either the Soper company or the other company that made it just stamped the number 714 on it. I'm just reading Chop Top stuff. Yeah. I know guys who are functional. Who are functional heroin addicts. But you know what? I've technically never seen a functional meth addict. Holy shit. There's quite a few of them stumbling around our fucking neighborhood. That's lovely. I do still wish they made Quaaludes. I'd like to try that one more time. Or now I'm not into speed very much, but I had an original Black Beauty, or used to have a guy who dealt Black Beauties. And one day he was like, well, dude, I'll give you a couple if, and I'm like, oh fuck, here comes the if. Because they knew I was a crazy son of a bitch. I pretty much do anything on a bar bet. Like I've done the cigarette game where you basically go forearm to forearm with a guy, and then you just drop a lit cigarette in between you, and the first one who moves has to buy the next round. But he came to me and he went, I tell you what, I'll give you a couple if you snort one. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Mistake. Holy, oh, it burned. I literally started seeing spots in front of my eyes. Like real Warner Brothers cartoon stars, man. Oh God, it hurt. It was painful. And, I got a couple extra beauties, but holy shit, man. I walked around most of the day like, oh, that hurt. Now, when I was a kid way back in the 70s, they were just starting to mass prescribe Ritalin. And Ritalin was a brain killer. I mean, I was a wild child. I'll admit it. I was a bony little thing, man. And always scrapping and shit. I had an attitude problem, and that got adjusted on several occasions, which I'm grateful for. But Mom found out you hit me with a Ritalin, set me in front of the TV, and I just zombified for about 4 to 6 hours. And then it was time for bed. But here's the kicker. When I hit puberty and my body chemistry started changing, well, wouldn't you know it? But Ritalin, instead of being a downer to me, the way my system changed, it was metabolizing it like speed. So I never told my mom that it was doing that because I was getting, extra pills, and I was literally selling them for like $1 a piece at school for anybody that wasn't hyperactive. Because, it wasn't ADHD back then. It was hyperactivity. The boy's hyperactive. And I can say that I was one of the first kids on the block. At age 7, I was drinking coffee. Because the doctor said, well, one of those things that can help settle him down is coffee. So I got to drink a couple cups of Joe before I walked into, 2nd grade. I was the only coffee drinker. I actually brought a thermos that got taken away from me because the teacher thought that I had smuggled the stimulant in. Yeah. Dexamphetamine's not a good road to go down. Well, no, Ritalin zombified me. It did. It tanked me out. It crushed out a lot of creativity from, like age 7 to about age 12. And then when I hit puberty, man, bang, that shit turned into speed. And all of a sudden my creativity started kicking back in. And I was happy for it. I think that's another reason why I really don't like doing drugs. The medications. Because if my doctor's like, well, hey, let's try this because you're having a little bit of anxiety. And I was like, yeah, it's called life. Life gives you anxiety. You just deal with it. Well, here, have a mother's little helper. And I'm like, I don't want it. I got hooked on fucking Tramadol. Which they said at the time when they were prescribing it that Tramadol is non-addictive. Well, I can tell you this, bullshit. It is addictive. I tore my rotator cuff, which is still torn, by the way. I never had the surgery for it because the guys who hit me, the settlement wasn't enough to get surgery. So I just paid off some debts when I was off because it knocked me out of work. And Tramadol, my doctor at the time was prescribing, what was it, like 300 pills a month. Yeah, all Tramadol, same thing. Yeah. And I got to the point where I was eating just to maintain. I was eating between 8 to 10 of them at once. Just, chewing them up like Pez, man. And although it was kind of weird because I was already losing weight with my diet and exercise. I got down to like 170 pounds, and I did not look healthy. I mean, I'm back to like 180 now. I'm going to start fattening up because I can't move around because of all the fucking mini strokes that I've had. But yeah, when I was down around 170, I looked downright freakish. You know, kind of like a wax figure in that opening stage of melting where you see everything that just kind of looks like it slides. Ugh. I don't have vanity, but I do have a gross factor. And to me, that was gross. Oh. You know, I've been going at this for almost an hour now. And I don't think I've said anything insightful. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll be sipping a little bit of sour watermelon vodka tomorrow while I'm interviewing my guest. Now, I did have people DM me and ask me, you know, what's the thing about you and Disky? You know, is there some type of drama and blah blah blah? No, fucking, there's no drama. I like Disky. Disky's one of the few people that I really kind of consider a friend, and that if I tell him something that I can trust, that it's not going to be spread around the internet like butter or legs in a whorehouse, as my uncle used to say. Wifey was on Depakote too. Wifey's allergic to like 80% of the shit that's out there. So they rotate her meds. Like I said, I am not shitting you when I say she takes about a dozen pills, and 6 of them are helping to counteract the 6 that actually work. But no, there was no heat between me and Disky. We had it set up, a month ago for him to come on, but his work schedule changed, and he said, hey, I'll see if I can get out of this. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Don't mess with your money. I couldn't handle the fact if you cut out on making bank just to come and shoot the shit with me for 2 hours. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. I mean, I'll always have a seat open for you. I will come and approach you and ask you, because there's one of my little known things that I do is I do kind of leave one spot blank on the monthly calendar, and then I fill it in like maybe a week or two before, just in case. There's people that I want to get in. There's people that I really want to talk to, or just sit back and have a decent conversation. I used to be Kadai and I used to be friends with the Purple Footballs. Those were kind of fun. But yeah, and Disky's somebody that you wouldn't believe how many hours that we put in just shooting the shit behind the scenes. Well, some of you would, because I think maybe some of you have been there at the time. I mean, we don't huddle anywhere. We don't cluster anywhere, to talk ill or bad about anybody. Now, sometimes it does come up where we're talking shit about people, but then again, it's the same shit that we said to their faces. It's the same shit to where if you see people talking on a stream, like if I mentioned one of the names that I've had a row with, you could literally go to that stream and listen to he and I, and I'm saying the exact goddamn thing. So yeah, I never talk behind anybody's back, and my grandpa had a great expression for that. He said, never talk behind anybody's back because you always want to see their expression. And I've taken that to heart. I'm a fan of You know, and if hands are thrown, shit happens. But really, I mean, if you're going to say something about somebody, you better be prepared for that somebody to come back. And, you know, stick to your guns. If you take a beating for what you think, you take a beating, but make sure that, you know, you leave a couple marks. You leave some memories for them. It's just one of those things where, and that's Joker and I have talked about this extensively too. Killing jokes of the same mind of why are these people talking behind other people's backs? It's not getting them anywhere. If there's any type of conflict, it's not solving it. If you got a beef with somebody, you hash it out. And if you don't want to hash it out, and I'm not mentioning any current events because I just don't want to get into the big arguments that are happening right now about people calling other people pussies and saying, you know, well, you know, if you do this, you come on my stream. Oh, well, you know, if I do this, you got to do it for charity, or, you know, you have to turn off your Streamlabs. Hey, Bobbot, that's kind of stupid. You know, baiting people to come on a stream so they can cause drama and make you money. I don't, that is it. Am I wrong? Is that not ultimate cringe? I mean, I know this thing between Medicare and Tonka are going to eventually blow up. I don't know if it'll ever happen anywhere. Just because Jim has always been of the I don't give a fuck mindset. But you know, yeah, when it does happen, I'll be looking forward to seeing people turn off the Streamlabs, close it down. I mean, because really, if you want to hash it out, you want to hash it out. Like the only drama stream that I ever did, and I unlisted it immediately after I was done with it, was when the anime crew was accusing Snow Fox, or you guys probably have seen him in the chat as A Wild Fox Appears. They accused him of doxing. Now, he's a Spurg, and he freely admits that he's a Spurg. And I've freely told him many times, stop being a goddamn Spurg. But sometimes old habits are hard to break. You know, like a good lover, it's kind of hard not to think of him on occasion. But I actually pulled him onto the stream along with his accusers. And I said, you know what? I can't monetize anyway. My subs are at a low count, but I'm also going to do this. I told everybody beforehand. I said, listen, if you're coming on to hash it out. If you want to do it in a public forum, that's fine, because you don't want to exchange phone numbers, of course. So I'm like, okay, accused doxer to accused doxed person. We're going to get together and we're going to talk about it. Now, nothing might be solved with it, but I'm a pretty tough son of a bitch when it comes to, no, we're not fucking around. I ended up kicking more people because somebody gave out the Google Hangout link. So the crew thought they would jump in and be all funny with their asses. Well, they were funny for about 3 seconds because my finger was on the boot button. I walked funny for 2 days afterwards because I was kicking so much ass out of that chat. But I got on the two parties. I had them talk. And I said, you know, there's not going to be any monetization to this. At the time, my Streamlabs was hidden too. So I'm like, there's not going to be any monetization. This thing is going to be unlisted the moment that we're done. I'm going to private the stream. Nobody else is ever going to be able to see this again, because this is you guys need to talk this shit out kind of stream. This isn't a, hey, everybody, take a look at this spectacle, look at the dancing bear, look at the midget spinning plates. No. Wasn't about that at all. And I even muted the shit out of the people that I invited in to have the debate with each other. But the best thing that I did, and this is kind of a troll, but I knew what I was doing, and it made me laugh afterwards, and it still makes me laugh now. I got rid of the chat. I cut the chat out. I disabled it completely during that whole thing. So all the Spurgs that were there to be Spurgy could not be Spurgy. They had to sit there and twiddle their thumbs, hold their waifu body pillows and squeeze them with anticipation because they could not make their little snarky comments in the chat. And it's so funny because it's just us talking here, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was done on purpose. I trolled the whole fucking crew just because I thought it was going to be funny, and it fucking was. I got so many DMs because my DMs are open on Twitter. I got so many DMs. I got so many people finding me on Discord, giving me shit about how, that wasn't fair, that I didn't allow them to voice their opinion. And my general response to those people were, I don't give a fuck about your opinion. This wasn't about you. Now, if you want to go dock somebody and then have a discussion about it, fine. There are a ton of other channels out there. But poor Snow Fox was in panic mode at that point. So I took it upon myself. Well, they pulled me into the anime Discord and we're talking about, well, we want to talk to him and blah, 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 and this and that. And I was like, dude, he is not going to walk into a legitimately hostile environment. That's like asking a Klansman to walk into an NAACP meeting. No good will come of it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a boomer. Let me change that reference. That's the same as a neo-Nazi walking into a Black Lives Matter rally. Yeah. Was that better? Was that more topical? But yeah, that's essentially what irks us old people who've been around for a long time. And not just necessarily been around a long time on the internet, but IRL. We do believe that if you got a problem with me, you need to come to me. And I don't need to hear it through a third party or somebody DMing me. Oh, they're talking about you on the stream. Yeah, oh, well, okay. I haven't had anybody really trash me. Well, okay, that's a lie. There's been like 2 chats that were trashing me after this whole Snow Fox thing. And the amount of fucks I gave were 0. Because I didn't give a fuck. Didn't care. Do not care at all. And that's how you effectively deal with the spurgery. I've had people legitimately for the past couple of months, especially once my role and my affiliation was known with the Broski benefit. People sending me DMs, oh, you're such and such has got your docs and they're going to use it. I'm like, use it for what? Like, newspaper to line a fucking bird cage? What the hell are you talking about? And it's like, okay, if somebody doxes me, they dox me. So what? It's eventually going to happen. Anybody that they would start to threaten that's on my family side are either dead, dying, or legal to carry firearms. So you go ahead, take your chances. I know my siblings are more than happy to fight their own fights. They'll give me shit afterwards about, me dragging them kind of into it. And it's like, I didn't really drag you into it. It's just a bunch of spurgs that thought they could get to me this way. There's only 2 points of contention that I have where people can actually get my goat and piss me off, just in an instant, piss me off. And those 2 things I do not share unless a person does it, and then I step back on them. Most of the time they get a warning, but if I'm liquored up, hands might be thrown, or people might be put against or through a wall. I mean, everybody's got their hot buttons. I know of no saints who walk our earth currently. Then nobody is an angel. Everybody's going to have those skeletons. I mean, there's always been bad shit that you've done or bad shit that you've been a part of. There's really only 2 things that I've ever regretted in my life, but I don't share them because, that's not to be religious about it, but that's my cross to bear. That's my shit to get over with. Seek acceptance where you can and make apologies when you're in the wrong. That's all you really can do. Bobbot, I don't have a landing on that one way or the other. I used to be a skip tracer a long time ago. So if somebody gave me a name and a general location, I could find them. So that's a real tough question as far as doxing goes. There has to be some type of threshold. It's just my threshold is set farther up. Like if somebody truly dicked with me and I got their name and at least the state where they lived in, I could probably find them without a problem. I tracked one guy from Virginia all the way. He moved all the way to San Ysidro, California. And how I got his shit was I found out where he was. He had moved. He was gone. He had a semi-unique kind of name. And, this is back in the day when you used phones, you didn't have computers. So I found out, his aunt's phone number. I called his aunt and I said, "Hey, are you related to such and such?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, why?" And I was like, "Well, his class reunion's coming up, and we just wanted to make sure and invite him. We had an old address. We had this old address, and we were going to send it to him, but apparently he's moved, and we don't have any idea where to send the invite out to." And she's like, "Oh, well, he moved to, St. Louis Obispo. Yeah, he's out there working. He got him some job at a record store or something like that. It was like a Tower Records or something." And I said, "All right, cool." So I went ahead and cross-referenced and found the kid. living roughly around there. I called the house and said, yeah, is, Joe Schmo there? No, he's at work. Oh, well, shit, he's still working at the tower? Oh, yeah. He's still working at tower. I'm like, oh, hell. All right, well, I guess I'll just wait for him. And so I got the number to Tower Records. I called up and I said, hey, yeah, is Joe Schmo working? Yeah, hold on a second. And he gets on the line. And I was like, hey, Joe, this is such and such from the collection agency. And if I can find you moving all the way across the country, I think we better talk about settling the debt that you owe. So when can we start getting payments? He was just like, fuck you. I ain't going to pay you nothing. You ain't getting shit. And I was like, and did you realize that I called you at work? Yeah, so what? And did you realize that your employer has a legal obligation to guarantee your wages from an outstanding debt? The court's already ruled in our favor. You owe us. Now, do you want us to shave out the amount we want from your paycheck every week, or do you want to act like an adult? And sure enough, he had that shit paid off in like 3 months. He only owed like, what was it? Like I think it's like $800 or $900. Well, Chop Top, I don't have kids. Now, I've raised 4 kids, but I don't have any blood. I have to say that I know of in a sincere way, because I was a horn dog and the condom did break a couple times. But no, I have not passed on my bloodline. My uniqueness dies with me. Unless, I want to make a deposit at the sperm bank and, somebody in, 2137 decides that they want to have a kid with some guy that they heard on a really, really old YouTube video, then yeah, I guess. And BotBot, modern day doxing is a fucking breeze compared to what it was back then when I had to learn the tricks of the trade. That's the big thing about it. I mean, anybody can be doxed. I mean, even fucking Jim's admitted that his information is out there, and it's probably one of the tightest guarded secrets, because nobody wants to fucking dox Jim. And I hope I fall into that category. Yeah, I hate to say it, but most of the time it is just a Google search. People not privating their Facebook, or they've got their Instagram attached to their Discord account. It was stupid shit like that people just don't think about. And literally now, in the era where you can mask your VPN, mask your IP address, I should say. If you don't, and you have people that are in the know that know how to do that, that's pretty easy. If you got, my grandfather always said, you never have to have friends in high places. You just have to have them in the right places. So, I mean, if somebody ever did something shitty to family and friends on my benefit to get my ire, I would have a decidedly different reaction. I'm sure everybody out there has heard the old axiom, don't get mad, get even. Well, if people do bad shit, they get to have bad shit done back to them. And I'm not talking about being like Scooby and, oh, sick a biker gang on you. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll sick a biker gang on you. Fuck that stupid shit. Or fight me in real life, bruh. Fight me IRL. Yeah, no. No, no, no. Not gonna. There are different ways to take care of a beef. If somebody's not going to be straight up with you, then there are other ways. Well, I can see where the translation would happen. Over here in the colonies, it's karma's a bitch. Or my uncle used to say, karma's a bitch, and it's that time of the month. Oh. So, there's a dozen of you silly bastards sitting here listening tonight. What are you guys up to? Oh, no, not Chop Top. That kind of stuff for me is long gone, man. I'm a cripply old bitch. But let's just say there's sometimes the only muscle you have to lift is the fingers to be able to type and hit the Google search bar. Jeez, Bob Bot, where are you? 5 hours ahead. That's like Hawaii. Yeah, I think Hawaii's like 5 hours ahead. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, Scotland. I did not know. You must be a proud lad. And no, I'm not going to dump into the can I get the power, Captain? Because that's weak. That's weak impersonation. Although, here's a nice little Star Trek fact for any trickies out there. If you ever watched the animated series, they had two aliens. They had like the cat chick, and they had like the yellow lobster guy who was took the place of George Takei because he didn't want to be part of the Star Trek thing. Those two voices, so they could maximize their money, Filmation had Nichelle Nichols voice the cat chick, and James Doohan, who is actually a pretty good voice artist, do the lobster guy. I forget what his name was. The yellow crustacean looking dude. Oh, another nice Star Trek fact. If you guys would like another good Star Trek fact, the Klingon the Klingon and Vulcan languages did not exist until Star Trek: The Motion Picture. At least there was no dialectic for it. There was nothing written down. So they had to figure out how to do it. And what happened was there's a person who sat down and watched the scene as it was cut and then made up phonetics for it. Kind of like an early version of bad lip reading. Made up an early version for it, gave them to the actors, and the actors did the dub. Now, that person who invented, technically, the Klingon language and the Vulcan language was the same guy, and it was a guy named James Doohan. So Scotty engineered himself into a linguist. So how's that for facts you may not have known or given a shit about? I'm trying to find something here. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to practice my ASMR skills. Oh, no, Bob, there is a dictionary now. There's a guy who came back in behind what James Doohan did and created the languages for both Vulcan and for the Klingons. But he was such a geek, he wanted to stay in canon. So everything that was done from James Doohan's end, he incorporated that in. So, you know, you want to talk about somebody who really needs to get laid. Okay, until somebody comes up with a better topic, I'm going to practice my ASMR. So if y'all are ready, are you? Directions. Add 1 cup, 8 ounces, boiling water to the contents of this package. Stir until completely dissolved. Add 1 cup cold water. Chill until set. To add fruits and or vegetables. Chill until slightly thickened. Then add 1 to 2 cups cooked or raw fruits or vegetables. Do not use fresh or frozen pineapple, kiwi, ginger root, papaya, figs, or guava. Gelatin will not set. For molds, reduce water to 3/4 cups. Speed set. Soft set and ready to eat in 30 minutes. Add 1 cup boiling water to contents of this package. Stir to dissolve completely. Add 1.5 tray, 6 or 8 ice cubes. Stir until slightly thick. Remove unmelted ice. Oh, so nice. Well, so what do you guys think? Am I ready? Am I ready to open up my ASMR channel now? By the way, in case you're wondering, that was the gelatin package that I was reading off. It was for orange. So anybody in the audience that had the answer orange, you were right. Feel free to come pick up your new Toyota Camry. The keys will be waiting at the desk. Now, some of you might be asking why I have boxes of Jell-O in my office. Well, for one very good reason. Jell-O is actually a really good throat coat. It's good to keep your pipes from getting sore or creaky. Also, I make what's called a Jell-O cocktail. So like anytime that I'm feeling sick, I'm having trouble eating or holding anything down, it's infrequent, but it does happen. Or like if I get the chills from something, I'll go and get water as hot as I can get it without being boiling. Then I'll add a packet of Jello to it, and I'll drink that. Jello actually, the gelatin in it actually helps stabilize your stomach acids. It brings down the pH balance. That's something I did not believe. I thought it was a wives' tale. My grandmother told me that because she used to try to give me tablespoons of gelatin anytime I had a sick stomach. So then, when they started making actual flavored Jello, she would have me drink basically like a 16-ounce glass. And I just got into it after that. So anytime, I get really bad gut pains, if I get nauseated, then I'll basically pound some hot liquid Jello. Ooh, that sounds like a good punk band name. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage Hot Liquid Jello?
Thanks, everybody. You rock. It's great to be here in Cleveland. Our first song is from our first album. If you remember the name of the album, it's called Don't Wipe Your Mouth with a Sanitary Napkin. And this is a little tune we call She's My Thalidomide Baby.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm not doing the song. And by the count, I have killed one person who was listening. They just dropped right off. Yep, Jello cocktails. They is good. No, I'm older. Scrub sounds like me. Of course, I don't do the Billy Mays impression. I can't do the Scott Steiner. Scrub is unique. I was on one of his streams once and I can't remember why. I think that was just about the time where I was a total insomniac, and if somebody was streaming, I'd start talking to them in the chat and they'd be like, "Hey, why don't you come on stream?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Okay, boss. Then just jump on. Oh, wait a minute. See, I read this completely wrong. I must be starting to get sleepy. I looked on the up next on the autoplay and it says Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish play Truth or Dab. And then I recognized it was for the show The Hot Ones, where they eat the spicy sauces on the chicken wings. Aye, that spice is something good. I'll tell you that right now, mes amis. But and yeah, I would actually recommend that channel. I'm subbed out to First We Feast because it's fun to watch people eat progressively hotter sauces while trying to be interviewed. The one with Key and Peele is pretty damn funny because they damn the host to hell for making them eat the hot sauces. The one with Chris Jericho wasn't bad either. It's funny, Bob. I was before Rary left on his actual stream. he wanted to have me come on, and every so often I'd shoot the shit with him. I even offered him, hey, doors open, if you want to come in and just shoot the shit, because most of the YouTubers you guys see me with are people that I've had discussions off air with. Because I'm really not as fast and zippy as people like AP or Scrub or Joker. And I'll sit back and I got my country charm on, which is, basically slow and low, do it at your own pace. Byron, I found Key and Peele funny. I had problems with how butthurt Dave Chappelle was, because, oh yeah, Key and Peele's funny. It was funny when they called it the Chappelle Show. I'm like, not really, dude. You guys did the hey, ain't black people funny thing. I get it, but why can't other black people do ain't black people funny or buck against a stereotype? I mean, Richard Pryor didn't come after Dave Chappelle for gimmick infringement. Matter of fact, not even like Flip Wilson came after him, for God's sake. And those were brothers who were doing it a long time before. Long time before. God, what the hell am I vaping? I am vaping unbridled ass juice. Ugh, the coil must be shot in this fucking thing. And must need a new coil. I am vaping Wally 18, or excuse me, Wally 118. That's funny too, because I talked to these guys. The company that put this juice out, because I was the contact man for the classic vape, talking to all the vape companies. They want to sell us shit, and really the owner didn't want to have to deal with it. Of course, he had no taste buds either, so he didn't know what tasted good and what didn't, so he left it up to me. So I would invariably have conversations with him. And we got moved over to a new account rep because they fucking go through them like I go through a pack of cigarettes. And I was like, yeah, do you still have this one flavor? It was called oh, what was it? It was like Mocha Delight or something like that, or Caramel Mocha Delight. Very descriptive, right? So I call them up to order more of it. Oh, well, we changed the name. The name of it's now Wally 118. I'm like, where the fuck did you get a name? It was Caramel Mocha Delight. I could tell my customers that name, and they would say, just based on that name, oh yeah, hey, that's something that I'd want to try. Instead of my customers who definitively did the, what the fuck is a Wally 118? I'm like, I don't know what the hell you guys are smoking there, but cut it out. Stop renaming shit, or at least if you're going to rename it, name it to the flavor profile. They had one called On the Green. Okay, in the chat, I'll give you time to answer. What is the taste of a vape that's called On the Green? By the way, it does have a little picture of a golfer on it too. So I'll wait. What flavor is On the Green? See now, fifth, that would have been a better joke had you said Arnold Palmer's nutsack. Okay, I do have to give you credit, Bob Bot. It was a fruit flavor, but it was kiwi and melon with a hint of menthol. Once again, kiwi with melon, and kiwi and melon with a hint of menthol. Why the fuck would that make you think of a golfer or getting on the green? It's like, oh my God, I just teed off. I landed on the green 2 feet away from the cup. Holy shit. I feel like having fruit with menthol. Don't get me wrong. It was a good vape, but I literally got sick and tired of having to explain what their flavors were. I'm like, you guys, unless you pull your collective heads from your marketing asses, then we're going to have to stop ordering from you because you guys put too much of the effort on us to sell your shit. Cut it out. Or we having that come to Jesus meeting. I've also got one of the most horrendous tasting. It's steeped for a while. Strawberry cheesecake. It's like strawberry ass cake. It's horrible. I also do have one called Cutie, and that's an orange cream. I've got one called Mila's Macaroons, which actually I have to spike that with Nick if I'm going to use it. And then I have, I got Bombshell left. Cool. I've got Sophia, which is raspberry. What do you call it? Raspberry. Oh, gelato? Yeah, gelato. Wait a minute. Did these vapes actually 5U a hit at all? Oh, give. Okay. I mean, they don't give me a buzz. It just helps to maintain me. Also, it's part of the fetish where you're blowing smoke. Although my fucking black cat loves to jump up on my lap when I'm vaping, and she'll get pissed at me and she'll start making bread on me until I blow a hit of it into her face. And then she licks her lips and jumps down. If anybody's getting a buzz off it, it's probably that damn cat. But that cat's dumber than a bag of hammers, so yeah, take that for what it's worth. I have a ton of different ones that I actually like, but they threw me out a whole bunch of free samples, so I got a lot of freebies. I don't have a lot of coils left, and my vape is pretty much gone to shit. I mean, it's pretty odd to see somebody who's had an actual that has had actual gear that's lasted more than 2 years. Most people are into the fashion side of vaping, which is another reason why I get irritated, because they make vaping seem like it's some cool hipster doofus thing to do. They having cloud contests and all that bullshit. It's like, this will start you down the road to smoking. you really don't want to start smoking if you don't have to. I mean, sure, all the kids are cooler when they smoke, but you know, that's just between you and me and Joe Camel and the Marlboro Man. Good God, I never wanted to be a cowboy, but I never wanted to be a camel either. See, back when I was a kid, we were stealing smokes from the local store when I was a coffee drinking age, and I was about age 7. Go and steal smokes, and the ones we'd usually steal were Pall Malls. And Pall Mall no filters. Or Chesterfield no filters. And we thought we were just the fucking coolest. Okay. So since there's not double digits here, I'll go ahead and tell a story. Oh, God damn it. It went back up again. I can't tell the story now. All right, fuck it. I'll tell the story. Okay. So when I was a kid, I was a little rambunctious. And a very good morning to you, Lucky Skunk Lawnbear. And no, you don't have to leave. I will tell you, I will share the story with you as well. So, as a kid, my mom found my pack of smokes in my jacket. Like a dumbass, I forgot to take it out. And by the way, if anybody tries me on this, I actually have pictures of this too. So fuck all y'all. But in a nice, loving way. You know, we get to spoon after, as long as I'm the big spoon. So my mom goes, we're going to cure you of this. You want to smoke? All right, fine. So at the time, it was just me, my brother, and my sister. And she brings home a carton of Luckies and 2 packs of cigars, like the old Tiparillos. So my sister lights up her first one, takes her first breath in, turns green, runs to the bathroom, throws up. She's done. My brother gets a pack done before he's done, before he's all choked out. I finished the carton because she had us chain smoking the whole. I mean, I sounded like Selma Diamond from Night Court, you know, a hobby fire sting. I was ragged out, but I finished that fucking carton. Started on the cigars. And she goes, okay, you can smoke, but you got to pay for your own cigarettes. So occasionally, from time to time, I'll think back fondly on that. And my mom even took pictures of us kids who were there smoking. So I actually do have a picture of me a burr cut in those 1970s pajamas, just smoking away on a Lucky Strike. It's one of my favorite pictures, actually. That or the afro picture. Oh man, when they gave me a fro, fucking hilarious. I whined and bitched all the way through it, and then when it was done, I looked at it and I'm like, what fucking 70s prog rock band did I just get kicked out of? It was horrific looking. It was terrible. I never did anything like that to my hair again. But I have dyed my hair. I used to dye my hair because I was bored. And I dyed my hair blonde. And there's pictures out there. Let's just say that a dyed blonde, 327-pound man just not attractive. You can't make that attractive. You know, like the old one from Tootsie, where they talk to the cameraman. You go, well, we need to make her look more attractive. How far can you pull back? And the guy, just cigar in his mouth, goes, how about Cleveland? And that, my incel friends, is why you have to develop a sense of humor. Because if you an ugly motherfucker, then you can't Adonis your way to the bedroom. And you certainly don't want to soy yourself to the bedroom either. Have a sense of humor. You know, be interactive, be charming. Because, you know, if it wasn't for that, I probably never would have got booty. But I was pretty much a wise ass. I was a smart ass with a lot of girls, and for some reason they found that attractive. They found the bad boy thing attractive. So I carried that on into my adult years with the women's. Now the men were a completely different story, but that's a story for another time. Oh, Bob, I used to have those days. There was a time in my life where I used to smoke 5 packs a day. You know, like the old Bob Seger song. I used to smoke 5 packs of cigarettes a day. It was the hardest thing to put them away. Yeah. I didn't drink 4 or 5 bottles of wine because wine to me was just, and wine still is. Wine's something that, you know, you occasionally have with a meal. When you're feeling all, you know, erudite. But, you know. Yeah, I wonder if there's anybody else that's up and streaming. Usually about this time of night for us, you can see Drawing with Jezza. But apparently Jezza isn't online right now. Joke's not up either. I thought Joke would be up, but he ain't. Yeah, only thing I've got making noise around here are the cicadas. Oh no, I remember. Oh, awesome. A yawn. That means I'm close. Oh, to be in England in summertime with my love, close to the edge. Yawn means I'm almost ready to call an end to this foolishness. That's just jibber jabbering. I mean, okay, I had a purpose when I first came on. Why am I still getting Andy Worski notifications? I unsubbed to him like months ago. And he blocked me. I have no idea why he blocked me. We have only had one verbal interaction, and I was like, hey, you stutter. I stuttered. I'd like to get you onto my show, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about stuttering, not, you know, the multiple times about raping, but talking about actual stuttering and how you get around it and, you know, how you conquer it. But I only had that one interaction with him, and that was once. And I sent him a couple of tweets, because of course his DMs are closed. I sent him a couple of tweets. Hey, remember we talked on your show and you said you'd be interested, because he was like, oh yeah, I'm down for it. That's his words. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to hook up and can't get a hold of him, can't get a hold of him, can't get a hold of him. So I just say, fine, forget it. You know, wasn't that important. I thought it would be an interesting conversation, but you know, I know I've said this before on streams, especially when you're considering YouTube. When you become a content creator, already have in your head that your 15 minutes are already up, and then act accordingly. Because really the only reason why people should be on YouTube at this point is to be entertained and entertaining, not only to people, but to themselves too. Because really, seriously, if this has turned into a job for you, then you are definitely in the wrong place. You got your priorities completely out of order. But, you know, if you're here to crack wise or, you know, be informative or even transformative, Autobots roll out. Anything like that, you're here for the right reason. You know, no offense, ladies, but, you know, people standing around with their dicks in their hands, they need some type of venue, something to do. And, you know, this is about, a little over a decade ago, I had an online radio show with Blog Talk Radio. And I did that show until I became unable to do it anymore. Blog Talk Radio, it was free back then. But they decided that they needed to make some money off of it. They'd already done monetization. You know, basically saying, hey, this is a cool show. Why don't you put your ads on this? So they had an whole advertising team, bunch of marketing morons. Excuse me. And so that wasn't really working out for them. So then they started charging. And that's when the relationship between me and Blog Talk Radio died. So, yeah, I'm like, hey, you know, if I've got to pay for my fun, then you better be a hooker and a bottle of bourbon. Besides that, fuck you, I'm gone. So I left. I stopped doing Blog Talk. And people are like, oh, well, we miss your show. And I was like, dude, I can't pay for it. And, you know, we're talking 2007, 2008. There wasn't any reimbursement or Patreon system or anything like that to keep you going. Then I wouldn't necessarily need it. If they would have provided me with a free space, I probably would have been doing that radio show to this day. But they decided to put a toll booth up, and I decided to take the scenic route. So fuck them. If I didn't say hi, Sisyphus. Hi, Sisyphus. How you doing, brother? But yeah, I've been doing this silliness for like 2 hours, guys. And I have yet to achieve a point. I guess I should reiterate that the big reason why I came on was to explain why I did the GoFundMe and to thank the people who have contributed so far. The total's up to 1,200 now. The goal is, because I also added in contributions from Streamlab. So I lowered the goal. I moved the goalposts like everyone's want to do in the reactionary community. I dropped down the goalposts and dropped down the goal. Excuse me. Wait, was I around? I wasn't around this morning. Am I ever around this? No, I was at the food pantry waiting in line. But in moving that goalpost, because I reduced the amount of it down to 1250 because I've had upwards of 250 donated on Streamlabs. So I'm still shooting for it. And I mean, legitimately, that's going to allow me to do everything that I want to do, including, you know, doing all the side videos and stuff like that. And I just wanted to give my thanks out to the people who contributed. I mean, also there's, I mean, going back to my original thing, it's hard for artists, and I say this in quotation marks, it's hard for artists to take monetary compliments, if that makes sense. Oh shit. Hey Sisyphus, what time do you actually stream? Are you just doing Mondays, or are you trying to do weekly? Or through the week, I should say. And while I'm waiting for that 10-second delay to be done with, yeah, if anybody would like to donate, I certainly would not say no. We're $300 away from hitting goal, so I'm really pretty excited about that. I'm honestly, being the pessimist that I am, I'm honestly trying to calculate what I want to get if I can get it with the money that I have. I mean, there's not really a cushion that's involved, but because everybody who did the recommendation, they legitimately sent me, like, here's all the parts together, and it was between like $1,350 and $1,500. And they're like, this is a nice medium range computer. It'll get you it'll get you just ahead of the curve a little bit to when everything changes. Then you know, you'll be caught up. You'll be passed up in like 5 years, but you know, doing what you're doing, that's going to be the perfect machine for you. So, yeah, you know, I trusted in the experts, and that's why I set the number where I did. But you can bet dollars to donuts that whatever this campaign ends up finishing out at, I am sure as shit gonna spend every last dollar to upgrade whatever I've got. I got my sights set on getting a decent pair of cans. Also a webcam. And yeah, I've talked about where I do want to legit buy software so I can do my video editing. And other stuff like, you know, the E barely works on my fucking keyboard now. And I'd like a mouse that isn't a piece of shit. But, you know, that's the pie in the sky stuff. If I have to work with it, it's just like people are like, oh, well, you need to get yourself a monitor. What kind of monitor do you have now? Like a 22 or a 27 inch? I'm like, I got a 17-inch monitor. I'm okay with it. It still runs. Somebody gave it to me because they accidentally GOSed a section of it, so you can see actual breakdown pixel streaks on parts of the screen, you know, where somebody ran a damn magnet across it like a dumbass. But this was, I am simply just not up that early in the morning. Damn. I promise I'll go back and listen to the rebroadcast, but 7 a.m. Woof. Woof. That's early. I'm an old guy. I have to sleep a lot. It's part of the old guy code. Then again, you know, it's fucking 4 a.m. I'm going to probably roll to sleep at about 5 o'clock and then wake back up at like 10. I have to go back to the food pantry today because they couldn't get my shit ready early enough, and wifey had to go to work. And if she just left me there at the food pantry, that's about a 1.5 mile walk that I didn't want to make. Well, technically that I could actually make, trying to drag freaking grocery bags with me. Yeah, that shit would not have turned out pleasant. Mama always said, crippled is as crippled does. So yeah, I felt so bad too, man. At the pantry, I'm like, listen, I have a certain amount of time and I have to be out of here by X amount of time or my wife's going to be late to work because she got to drop me off and then go on. Cat, what are you doing? Stop headbutting my shins. No. Yeah, Black Cat's in here. I did mention Black Cat was in heat, right? Yeah. What? It's so funny because we got those cats so early in life. We can flip them on their back and scratch their tummies, and they have no problem with it whatsoever. I know most cats are instinctual, like, you know, all of a sudden you get a 4-paw salute with nails into your hand, and then a little nom 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 on a knuckle. But we got these cats really early in their lives. We went and picked them up. They were from the same litter. Black cat and a white cat. White cat's Princess. Black cat's Grinnet. And the lady had like she had like a fenced in front porch in front of her double wide. So we go into the fenced in part, and immediately both cats come out, and they were, you know, holding your hand size. You know, like, you know, technically not bite size, but like 2 bite size maybe. You know, if you know how to eat a cat correctly. What? No, go away. No, go away. I'm telling a story about you. Yeah, I know. So just sit back and chill. Chill, kitty. Get it, chill. Simmer down, kitty. Nah, kitty beat a dildo. Anyway, the lady comes out the door. The cats come scurrying past her, and Black cat automatically runs up to my wife. White cat automatically runs up to me. And I can see, well, anybody who's ever had cats or knows anything about cats, when cats are first born, their eyes are blue. Especially, you know, the domestic American breed. Their eyes are blue. Blue. And that means that they weren't done with their weaning yet, that they weren't out of that phase. Because once they're done with the weaning and everything, the eyes start to change colors to what they're supposed to be eventually. So those cats couldn't have been more than about a month old. And, you know, you normally don't want to take them away from their mothers until they've had time to, you know, wean and be done. But in the course of the conversation, the lady who had the cats also mentioned the fact that the mother was no longer around. So my wife, of course, asks, well, what are you feeding them right now? And the lady just kind of matter of factly looked at us and said, well, they seem to like Taco Bell a lot. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're feeding these kittens fucking Taco Bell? Was it like a burrito supreme with some catnip? What the fuck is wrong with you, lady? So we took them. And they're a little over 2 years old now. And they're dumber than a bag of hammers. But yeah, we've had them since before, you know, the we're done weaning age. And pretty much anything that we wanted them to do, we were able to train them to do. Except fear the water bottle. You actually have to spray them. You can't just show them the water bottle. You have to squirt them at least once, which is okay by me. You know, a little spray of water never killed any kitties. Curiosity may have, but a little spritz from a squirt bottle, nah. Wait, what probably has cat in it? Vamp's cat? Kitty. Kitty. Hush. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but she does the like she's talking. Like she's talking in a language that even she doesn't understand. Well, I always heard Taco Bell was good for Chihuahuas, especially if you want to give them the shits. Never have been a Taco Bell fan. Like when wifey asked me, you know, I'm gonna go pick up some fast food. What do you want me to pick up? I don't tell her where to go because she's gonna go wherever she wants. I tell her where I don't want her to go. I'm like, nah, I don't want any. I don't want any Taco Bell. Taco Bell's always at the top of the damn list. What, cat? Are you saying it's time for me to go sleep and to ignore you? Oh, you got quiet on that one, huh? Asshole cat. Yeah, it's taking energy just to draw out this vape. Tastes like burnt ass. What? Well, I'm not just saying Taco Bell is the shits. I'm saying it also gives you the shits. I would rather, you know, if I had the money, walk down to the taco truck that's 3 blocks away, because that's like authentic Mexican. It's, you know, it's authentic to the point where they even serve tongue. They even serve shredded beef tongue. And they serve chicken, and they do pork, and they do steak. What? What? I'm gonna get you. Damn cat. keeps circling me like I'm the house and it's the vampire looking for an open window. So yeah, I mean, now there's about 9 of us watching. Everybody's got wrenches, so if you guys want to shill any of your shit, please feel free and drop some links in there. I'm going to take a couple more puffs and then call it a damn night. I think I'm at the point where I can actually sleep. Kitty. Kitty. Pain in the ass, kitty. You're a pain in the ass. Psycho, I wouldn't say that tongue is bad. If you know how to cook it appropriately, it is not bad. It is not bad at all. I mean, fuck, you might as well eat it. It's just another big muscle. It's lean as hell. But since I spent my allowance on maintaining to make sure to have liquor for the show, I'm like, fuck, I'll eat soup and crackers as long as I got my bottle of liquor to roll with on the stream. And yeah, I guess I should do this. Hey, everyday man. I guess I should do this. Let me shill out a couple of the dates here. Tomorrow, it was supposed to be Disky, but Disky's schedule changed. No worries, we'll get him back on. We just have to wait for a break in his schedule. Tomorrow we're gonna have rock and gem dealer Leona Nunez on, and we're gonna talk about basically rocks and gems and minerals and what's so cool about them. Also, coming up the week after that, on October 2nd, we're going to have in Mike Barron. Mike Barron's probably known more for his comic book writing. He did win 2 Eisner Awards for Best Writer. So he must have something going good for him. He's also the co-creator of the book Nexus and The Badger. And right now he's a novelist. He's cranking out some novellas, some good stuff. We'll talk to him about all the facets of writing, because this is the first time that I've actually had, well, not a peer, but somebody that was in the profession that I had chosen. Then on the 9th, we've got B-movie director Jim Wynorski coming in. He's the gentleman, the brains, and the direction behind Chopping Mall, if you remember that 80s classic. He also... What, cat? No, piss off. No, go away. He also directed Death Stalker 2. He directed the Munchie series. So any of you guys who watch, Gulf City Theater, you've seen Munchie. And more recently, he's been known for cranking out some straight to DVD stuff, like the Witches of Brestwick and the Bear Wench Project. On the 23rd, we're going to have on The Killing Joke, because I like Joke. He's a pal. And this may be quite a bit different because he's going to have the switch turned off, and he's going to be the guy back behind it. I think this is going to be an incredibly fascinating interview. And then for our Halloween show on the 30th, we are having the creator, director, co-writer, producer of the Friday the 13th series, Mr. Sean Cunningham. And that one's going to be pretty interesting as well, because I'm sure that, you know, a kid playing on the playground and they're like, "Oh, what do you want to be?" "I want to be a fireman." You know, "I want to be a policeman." I'm pretty sure Sean Cunningham didn't say, you know, toddling around going, "And I want to be a movie producer." I'm pretty sure that shit didn't happen. And in November, I'm just going to mention only one. We've got, if you haven't checked out their YouTube yet, the group Random Encounters, they do short musicals based on video games. And they do it in a very humorous way. I like their stuff a lot. Yeah. I just watched a UK version of Kitchen Nightmares, and Gordon Ramsay, actually, since he was in a Scottish restaurant, he cooked tongue. Cat laying on my foot's not going to help you either. So, are we people done shilling here? I haven't seen a single person shill a goddamn thing. You can even share your Twitter if you'd like. And yeah, if you want to drop a couple ducats my way, the GoFundMe link is in the description. Cat. Kitty. Kitty. Come here. You gonna go quiet now? Huh? No, just because I'm petting you does not mean I'm gonna pressure point you. Ain't gonna happen. Nope, not gonna do it. Kitty. We're such a good kitty. Okay, well, you're not such a good kitty then. Nope. Nope. Maybe when we get off here, I might pressure point you so you shut the fuck up and not meow at the door. Meow. Meow. Anything you want to say to the people before we go off? No, okay. Be that way then. Cramping daddy style. Go on about your bad self. Okay. So I think we've shared a couple of stories. Try to make sure that anytime I do something, I don't keep telling the same freaking stories over and over and over again. I hate it when old people do that. So, yeah, it's like 4:30. I've been doing this for 2.5 hours with no topic and no reason, except for the fact that I couldn't get to sleep. But now that I'm starting to yawn, I think it is time that I take my leave. We love the time we shared with you. To share a joke and a laugh or two. May your pleasures be many, your troubles be few. And we'll see you next time on the next Hee-Haw. I'd play a banjo, but I can't. So good night, everybody. Pleasant dreams. And go watch a whole bunch of people tomorrow. I know Morning Decay is up and running about at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. Joke might do WJOKE before that. And then, of course, leads right into the Kumite. And then that leads into other stuff. Check out my buddy Joker, though. He's going to be starting shit at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And he runs for a couple hours just before my show. And then afterwards, there's other people. But I never know what the scheduling is. Probably Trippy's going to do a Trippy cast. Yeah, that's all I can think of right about now. So everybody, please do have a wonderful rest of your morning. And hopefully you're rested this morning, because you some bitch got to go to work. I just got to go to bed. I will talk to you all later. And thank you once again for everybody who's contributed, dropped some donos on me to help get me a new rig. Good night, everybody.